How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I thought I'd ask ChatGPT how to save money in a novel way and sort of critique its results. Personally, I think I've maxed out how frugal I can be. If I become any more frugal, I'll probably emit this so frugal that it hurts force field kind of thing, and anybody that enters will feel pain, I guess. First one being 52-week savings challenge. First week you save $1, second week you save $2. The 52-week you save $52. So at the end of the year, you'll have about $1,400. The last month, you're paying about $50 every single week. That's like a $200 savings. I've never done any kind of savings challenge. I always just try to earn as much money as possible, and then I spend as little as possible, and what's left over is a huge amount. When I first started working, it might have been a smaller percentage, maybe like 50% or something, but over time, I got better and better at reducing my burn rate, and eventually I hit like 90% and pushed it even further to 100% when considering my earned income from my job, because I had side income that pays for all my expenses. Save coins in a jar, count them periodically, and see how you've accumulated. In 2025, coins is probably a nuisance. It's big and heavy and bulky. You don't want to carry it around. I'd rather use, some kind of electronic payment, use my credit card, use Venmo, whatever. But some places still have cash, and I still manage to collect a whole bunch of coins, and I personally put them inside a glass milk jug. I will say the most efficient way to spend it would probably not be trying to deposit in one of those Coinstar machines, because they take a pretty large cut, like 10%. And I found that a good way to spend them would be just to go to Home Depot, buy something there, use the cash self-checkout machine. You can almost just pour all your money into this little hole. Or I think Sprouts has the same thing, a self-checkout cash machine. You may have like something like this much. You don't even have to count it if you don't want to, in case you think the machine is, gonna count erroneously or something. So you just pour all that money in there. If it's over, it'll actually give you bills back. I've done this in Japan before. And what you're foregoing is about 5% cash back on a credit card. So I figure, okay, fine, I'll, just to get rid of this coin, just so that I don't have to spend time putting it in little rolls and depositing at the bank or something, which I've done also myself, and try to figure out what's the best way to get rid of these coins. Envelope system. Divide your expenses into categories and place the corresponding budgeted amount into labeled envelopes. I don't budget because my expenses is around $1,500 every month. It's so low that my typical earnings month beats that way out of the water. I know I earn way more than that, so I don't have the budget. It takes time to do that, and I just think it's not worth my time. I just don't do it. Automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers from your checking to savings account. I don't do that. I just manually look at my checking account. If there's too much in there, I just transfer it to my savings. I think I might do this, once a month, 2 times a month, whenever there's too much money. I always keep a certain amount in, several of my checking accounts, depending on the estimated amount that it might get used per month. For example, like I have a Discover checking account, and, I have 2 credit cards that are paid from there. And, they never go over, let's say, $600 every month. So I might keep like $800 in it. And maybe like for my Chase, I pay certain bills in that one, maybe bigger bills, and I would keep a couple of thousand in there. So I try to keep it so that I won't get an overdraft on that in case, I forget, I go on vacation for 2-3 weeks. And there's just enough buffer room in there. Save your change from your purchases or round up transactions to the nearest dollar or $5 increment. I think this is probably more hassle than it's worth. What if you buy something that's, $5.01? You need to, find 99 cents from somewhere, or you just write it down somewhere and then later on you withdraw it from your checking account and put it somewhere else. That just doesn't work well for me. Like I said, when I was at my engineering job, the money comes into my checking account. I always just take almost all of it and put it in my savings, and try to keep my checking account at a certain balance that would pay, 1 month worth of bills. The next one is no spend days. I've done this myself, for like a month even, and not buy anything, but I do feel like it deprives yourself of, necessary goods sometimes. Maybe you need something and you're like, oh, no spend day. So you try not to spend. Something that relates to this is to control your impulsive buys. If you have something that you want, I just put it on my wish list. You may want it right now, but like a couple weeks later, for some reason, you no longer want it anymore. In fact, if you bought it, maybe you don't want it anymore and then you have to return it. It's giving you a lot of hassle. So I don't actually do no spend days in order to save money. I just don't like too much stuff laying around. Sell unwanted items. Sometimes when you buy something, it doesn't fit perfectly, maybe you want to improve on it or something. So there's always like a flow, an inflow of stuff. And if it flows in and if nothing flows out, you're gonna be an accumulator of stuff. It's gonna get very cluttered. So you need an outflow somehow. So the way to do that is either you sell the stuff, you give it away, you throw it in the trash. So it really depends on how valuable your stuff are. Sometimes the stuff that you sell might not be worth your time. Maybe it's only $5. I've learned to value my time a little bit. So that minimum threshold has gone up to let's say $20. I probably need to increase it even further than that, because for $20, you have to open up your store, your Facebook Marketplace store, your eBay or whatever. By the time you finish all the messaging, is like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you have to go to the meeting location or you have to ship the stuff. Let's say it takes 20 minutes and the minimum threshold is $20. You're essentially paying yourself $60 an hour, basically giving the item for free. You're selling your time at that point. For some people, if it's over $100, then they would sell. If it's anything less, it's just not worth their time. I wish I can do that at some point because I'm just way too frugal and I'm willing to sell stuff even down to the $20 level. So I really need to increase that. Use cashback apps or credit cards that offer rewards on your purchases. This is something I just normally do all the time. Not only do I use cashback apps, I use a certain credit card for a certain category. I churn credit cards, I churn investment accounts, and I churn checking and savings account. Everything that gives you a bonus, I do it. I just found out that if you spend $50, you can get $50 cash back on Rakuten. The last time I talked about it, it was actually a $40 off $40 offer. I've gotten it myself already, so I can't get it again. It does work. It just deposits into your PayPal account and you actually have to wait quite some time in order for them to deposit that money. Maybe like 60 days or so. So you have to pay that money up front, but at least is $50 off. You can buy a low price pair of shoe, you can buy a tool. Just sign up for an account down in the video description below. Make sure that you click one of their sales channels and then don't click away or anything and buy it through there. They're essentially buying you as a customer, paying you $50 for your first purchase, but later on you're like, hey, this is pretty good. You can get a few percentage off depending on where you shop, and then they earn you as a customer. Check out that link if you guys want to support this channel. Negotiate bills. I feel like this takes way too much time. I've done this before. You have to be on the phone with them for like half an hour waiting. By the time you talk to them, you might not even succeed. So I sick the Rocket Money app people after them. I didn't even want to deal with them. You pay them a certain percentage of what they save you. Funny thing is, after they negotiated a better rate for me, I actually switched my internet to a even lower price one. So I essentially paid them, didn't stay long enough to receive all the benefit. I might have lost money that way. But I went from a $70 bill to a $35 bill. Probably after 3 or 4 months, it'll be break even and then I can save money thereafter. Save a percentage of your income each month rather than a fixed amount. Many people would plop 10% into your 401k. Maybe your savings could be 10, 20%. I think in terms of at least 50%, which is really crazy already. And I pushed it all the way to saving 90%. 100% of your income, and that's probably the reason why I can retire early. So there you have it, how I think you should save money based on what AI suggests. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more.